All right, thanks for tuning in to Hurricane Irene. This is the second update we've done on the day. Um, New information came out at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And let's go on over. We'll talk a little bit about it right now. Tropical storm, or Hurricane Irene, rather, still a Category 3 storm. Its position is 28.3 north, 77.3 west, with maximum sustained winds at 115 miles per hour, with gusts at 140 miles per hour. It has started changing tracks. It's moving directly north at 13 miles per hour. We have a minimum pressure now at 942 millibars, or 29.81 inches. You can see here's this massive storm on IR satellite. The eye is actually right in there, and we do have that banding that's now starting to come onto the east coast here. So we're starting to see the before effects here of Irene, and with some of those cloud bands starting to come on the coast, and but the eye is still well off. Here is a little closer up. This is kind of a visible satellite, if you will, and there's your eye right there. And we're watching this right side of the eye where those winds are coming up from the south and the south and southeast. That's where the winds are going to be strongest. So whoever is on that east side of the eye wall when that makes landfall is going to see the strongest hurricane force winds here over the next few days. Going on over, let's show you the radar right now. This is the current radar across the southern portion of the United States. You can see here's some of those rain bands starting to move in onto the eastern coast of Florida, a few out here into the ocean around the eye of Irene. We'll go ahead and pull this down. And here's the current watches and warnings that are going on. We do have hurricane warnings in effect over the Bahamas right now, and then hurricane watches that are extended down all the way down the east coast here, basically from North Carolina up towards almost up to New York right now, and then kind of inland here we have some tropical storm watches, and then from South Carolina up towards Wilmington, North Carolina, we have the tropical storm watches, and we're going to see more of these watches not only put out, but we'll also see probably some hurricane warnings put out here within the next 24 hours or so. Going on over, here's the current thought on the track here. We'll zoom in a little bit on this and kind of get it out where we can kind of see the whole thing. Here's the current thought here. You can see the track does bring it up and makes landfall on the eastern coast of the United States, right in about central North Carolina. That puts it right now, the main area of impact just south of Cape Hatteras here, and then but definitely the whole east coast of North Carolina will be under the gun here as we get into late Saturday or into early Saturday afternoon, where we could see potentially a Category 3 make landfall. And then as we get into Sunday afternoon, we see this start to, or I guess late Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon, we start to watch up towards the New York area as this thing does make landfall again and moves up through the northeast, and will cause some damage and flooding there. So your main effects from this storm are going to be obviously very high winds, especially where this first makes landfall in North Carolina. Then we're going to be talking about storm surge. We're going to be talking about very high waves, very high wind, and of course the flooding rains are going to be a big problem as this moves up the East Coast. Some of the, if you're along the East Coast up the I-95 corridor, you need to listen to emergency management. We're talking about potentially power outages for weeks. We could be talking, I've heard numbers up towards 55 million people could be impacted by this storm. And so a very dangerous situation. If you're being asked to evacuate and you're along the East Coast, I would recommend highly that you go ahead and evacuate. Let's go on over to the forecast models here, and we'll go on over to the forecast model spread. Here is Irene sitting down here, and these models really coming into really good agreement here. You can see some of them bringing a little farther south, one of them still bringing a little off the coast, but regardless, we're still seeing that landfall potential on the east, right along the East Coast, right on North Carolina's shores. So anywhere from Wilmington all the way up towards Cape Hatteras, you could see the eye pass right over the top of you over the next 12 to 24 hours. We'll really hammer down where that goes, and then the model's really coming into agreement that it's going to kind of ride right up the coast here, and so the whole northeastern and really almost the whole eastern seaboard will be impacted by this storm. So that's just the quick little update we wanted to give you for tonight. We're going to do we're going to go ahead and do a live show tomorrow. We're going to start that at about 1:30. I'll be posting the link on here so you guys can tune into that. We should have a live chat up, and so if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to get on and ask them, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. So that's all we have for now. Till tomorrow, stay safe. If you're on the East Coast, get prepared. Evacuate if you're being asked to evacuate.